What are the 5 mistakes that every basketball trainer makes? My name is Ryan Rizuki. I've been running a successful basketball training business for over the past 8 years. I currently have my own facility for the past 2.5 years, and we train over 250 players every week. I'm going to give you tips on some things that you should avoid doing, and without further ado, let's get started. These are in no particular order, but the first mistake that every trainer makes is not collecting payment before the session. Here's an example. John is going to text you and say, "Hey coach, let's get after it. Let's work out tomorrow. Let's go at 5 p.m. And that's a prime time slot, right? After school, 5 o'clock, they're able to make it there on time. Now he tells you that, you say, "All right, cool, I'll meet you at the gym." Well, you show up at 5 o'clock and John doesn't show up. So you're calling, you're texting, you're wondering where he is. He's not there, right? And you haven't collected money for this, but you also scheduled a 4 o'clock, a 6 o'clock, a 7 o'clock, and 8 o'clock. So you did your 4 o'clock session. John doesn't show up for the 5 o'clock. And now you're wondering where he is. If you charge, let's call it $50 a session, you now just lost $50 because you didn't collect that before. Now this is gonna go tie really well into one of our next biggest mistakes, but one of the biggest things that you should do is collect the money before, because it can get awkward at times trying to collect money after the session, telling people that they owe you for your work, when really we need to be valuing our time. So the second biggest mistake that every trainer makes is not having a good cancellation policy. Going back to that previous example, John scheduled 5 o'clock, no shot on you at 5 o'clock. Well, that same day, Alex was asking to have the 5 o'clock spot, but you already reserved that spot for John, even though he hadn't paid you. So when John didn't show up, you don't get to make $50 at that 5 o'clock spot, a prime time hour, but Alex was already willing to pay you. You denied him because you already had someone else at that spot. So by collecting the money in advance, you get to reserve the spot, and if they don't show up, you still get the $50. Now, it's completely up to you if you want to charge the full session or if you want to just charge a half, 75%, that's up to you. We charge the full session because I could have had someone else at that spot, and I could have made that $50, and that's valuing and respecting my time. We allow a 24-hour window. It's up to you if you want to allow 24 hours or 12 hours or 48 hours. Typically 24 is what you're going to be looking at, and that allows you to, at least if John lets you know the day before that he won't make it, then you can at least let someone else know that that spot's available, and you could still make money in that time slot. Now again, we're going to get onto retention, because some people might get irritated if you charge them the full price and you would still rather keep them as a customer. So you might work different case by case, but essentially we always look for a 24-hour cancellation window, and we always collect the money before, so we're not at a loss. Now the third biggest mistake that trainers have in their business is not scheduling in advance. You don't want to call and text and email every single person last minute trying to fill up all your time slots. What you actually want to do is make sure that your clients know exactly when and where they're supposed to be at the right times. So for instance, let's say that we have John and we see him once a week. We want to see him once a week every single Monday around the same time. Of course, there's going to be some things like holidays that are going to get in the way of that, but essentially we want to try to have a consistent schedule with every player, which makes it easier to fill our open time slots. Because if I'm trying to scramble and ask you every single Wednesday, "Hey, are we on for tomorrow? Hey, are we on for tomorrow?" It's going to be really tough. And this is going to go on to our next point, which we're going to talk about our next biggest mistake. Now, the fourth biggest mistake is not selling packages. I'm sure you've all heard or seen the popcorn method at movie theaters. So let's say that your session prices were $75 for a single session for 1 hour. 5 sessions was $350, which breaks down to $70 per session, and a 10 session package was only $500. Well, a lot of people would look at that and say, "Oh, well, it's a no-brainer. I'll take $50 sessions instead of 75 or instead of 70. So they'll give you 500. Now you collect 500. And going back to our third mistake, if we have John who just paid us $500 and we're able to schedule him 2 or 3 times a week, we can now do a couple things. Run through the 10 sessions as fast as possible, not for business only. One, we definitely want to help him improve, right? And the more often we see him and work with him, the more he can improve. But 2, the faster we finish those 10 sessions, the faster he will re-up and pay us another $500 to then do 10 more sessions. The fifth and final mistake is not following up with your players. Yes, we are trying to sell packages, right? John is the player. Let's call him a 15-year-old kid. Now, when we're working with John, really we're selling all the packages to his parents. So it's very important that we're following up with the parents, making sure that they're able to see his progress, understand what he's getting better at, and then eventually how it's going to translate onto the court. So if we took John and he paid 10 sessions, we were able to get $500, and we saw him 3 times a week. We're able to run through those sessions in less than a month, which is awesome because that's one player. right? Imagine if we had 10 players under the same package. We make $5,000 a month. We're running through all of those sessions in 1 month, and we're able to re-up by the next month. So now we're able to take all those players, help them improve their game as fast as possible, and keep up with them. So when they're at home, they're still working on the things that you're teaching them. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is progress. The more your player improves, the more likely they are to come back and purchase more sessions and tell more people about you. Retention is everything. We have about a 90% retention rate here at our facility. We charge memberships and everyone comes at the same day every single week. They have a schedule, they know when to be here, and there is a cancellation policy for everything. So when they miss their sessions, they are still charged for them because their spots are reserved. This makes our life extremely easy to know when people are going to be here, how many people are going to be here, and how many trainers we need to run the sessions. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe, and let us know in the comments down below what you need help with in your basketball training business. Everybody's a little bit different, but we're here to help. I've been through a lot of those things where I was training at parks, where I was training different club teams, how to monetize my business, and now to be able to have a consistent business with over 5 trainers and 15 interns that work with us. It's incredible, and we want to be able to help you to do the same thing. So let us know how we can help you.